My name is Christian Karch. I am from SkyPro USA, and it's a pleasure to welcome you all here as well from the point of view of SkyPro. Today, what I want to talk about is a tool that can be considered the Swiss Army knife for GroupWise. The tool is called GWTalk, and I just want to go right on and why it is considered a Swiss Army knife. What does it do? A Swiss Army knife in general, usually a Swiss Army knife is a tool that helps you do multiple things with one single tool. You can cut things, you can unscrew things, close the open cans, many things you can do with the Swiss Army knife. And we see that in the same thing with GWTalk. It is a simple tool that helps users during everyday working process. GWTalk creates convenience, compliance, and compliance, and all that through integration. So GWTalk is a Swiss Army knife for GroupWise. Before I go into details about GWTalk, I want to spend a little bit of time on talking about communication in the enterprise world, because this is where this Army knife is actually helpful. It helps in the communication part of our everyday business processes. So in today's world, we see social media becoming more and more powerful. Social media, and I also would count in this drawer, I also would count types of social media platforms, social media communication platforms, or systems, or tools. How do we as people communicate in today's world? Email, if we're looking at email, which is the most used enterprise way of communication, social media at home is taking over outside the enterprise world. In the enterprise world, email is still around. Email is not the only big player anymore in terms of communication for the enterprise world, but it is still important to the enterprise world. The new electronic dialogue methods of communication, they are entering in the world of business. Businesses need to adapt to these new channels, these new methods of communicating, but they need to do that in a way that it works in harmony with the existing communication channels that we have. So the idea here would be to get a tool to integrate or to make that work, to make sure that we still can use the traditional ways of communication that we have, that we use, but also combine them with the new ways of communication that are entering into the enterprise world. And then, of course, integrating it, keeping it compliant, and so on and so on. So such a tool would be really cool. And before we talk about this tool in detail, let's talk about the channels that we are using, the communications methods that we are using. In today's world, telephony, everyone's having, aside from email, we're all using phones. Most of the time we're using the office phone, which is in many cases, it's a telephone system that's in the back end running voice over IP. So we have a voice over IP server somewhere in our organization where we connect our desk phones to it, or some might have a cell phone client somewhere running on their laptops that they can connect to the office line when they're working out of home or out of another site. So telephony today is digital. Most of the time it's a VoIP thing. Then we have instant messaging. Internally, most of GroupWise users, at least, probably use the Novell Messenger for any instant messaging communication inside the organization. Then there's other ones. There's Google Talk. There's Jabber or any XMPP-based IM service that is available, and people sometimes or organizations set up for internal use, or when they have shared users, they have some contractors that they work with, some project-oriented people they hired. They probably don't give them a Novell Messenger account. They give them something else. So they have these other platforms. There's text messaging. Text messaging, what used to be used by young people, young folks, by our kids. They would text back and forth where to watch the evening cartoons and things. This is changing. And if you have a bank account and you want to log into your online banking, or initiate a wire using online banking, what usually happens is you get a text to confirm that it's actually you. So the text messages are being sent for that. Text messages are being used by doctors' offices to remind people of appointments. If you have a sales guy that's on the road and you need to remind him something last minute, you probably send him a text because he will get the message immediately. So the texting also is becoming a business important tool. Even Novell is using text messages during brain share to announce people the statuses on what's going on and giving out important messages. Where, by the way, that's also they're using our system, our software for that. Social media, as I mentioned before, it's growing and growing, and I don't know of any business these days that doesn't have anything to do with some Facebook page or some Twitter, doesn't tweet, doesn't use Facebook, or isn't active in the social media world. We post things. We also use the communications on there. We use Facebook chat. We tweet things, and so on and so on. So this is becoming a part of everyday enterprise work. Then Skype. There's Skype. What used to be meant for private use only is now strongly finding its way into the enterprise world as well. I, for example, with some of my resellers, I chat via Skype. I use the text chat version of Skype, and I use the voice version of Skype, both of it. And I use it to discuss quotes or to discuss support with someone from our support team. We talk about things that happen that's work related. And then, of course, there's conferencing. Conferencing meaning it's not only going to the conference room and meet with other people. Conferencing also is that we cross-platform conferencing. We talk to one guy using Skype, then we call the other guy on the phone, and then we chat with the third person on Novell Messenger, and maybe send a text to someone else at the same time. So we conference all across it. This means in our everyday workload of a usual day at the office, we have to use multiple platforms. We have to make sure we're logged in at multiple platforms at the same time. We're always available, and then we need to remember which person we talk to where, and so on and so on. So coming back to that question I had 2 slides before, that a tool that would make it easier to use that all together, the Swiss Army knife. What would that look like? What would that do in this layout here? And then that actually is what GW Talk is doing. It brings it all together. We take GroupWise as the hub, as the communications central, where all communication is happening, and we integrate all these other new channels that are being used. We integrate telephony, we integrate texting, Skyping, instant messaging, social media, and allowing it very easily to do conferencing and also do that. When we integrate all these channels, we not only make the access easy to all those different channels, we also keep those additional new channels compliant, so that in the future, if someone asks you, well, what did you talk about that quote with that guy? What did you tell him? What were the numbers? And you had that in a Skype chat, in a chat window in Skype, you discussed the numbers. Well, don't worry. If you use GW Talk, that conversation that you had, the transcript of the entire chat history will be saved back to GroupWise, and it will be saved there just like you have the emails. And it also will be assigned to the people that were involved in the conversation in address books. Same happens with phone calls. If you have a phone call conversation, you can take notes during that call. These notes will be saved to the history, and the call history will be saved in a folder in GroupWise. Even if you want to record a part of that conversation, the recording will be saved within that piece in GroupWise with a WAV file. So the good thing is with GW Talk, you have one interface, and you can access multiple platforms with this one interface. You can choose in the setup of GW Talk what you want to integrate with GroupWise, what additional communications channels or methods or platforms you want to have displayed in GroupWise and have accessible through GroupWise. So you just connect them, and then you can decide how deeply integrated you want to have it. You want to have the transcripts of your chats copied into GroupWise as well, or you just want to have the access through GroupWise. You see it immediately. The screen actually shows what you want to do. what channels, we see the first, we have the GroupWise connection, then we have a instant messaging service, then we have the Novell Messenger, Facebook, 2 different telephone systems, Skype, Google Talk, and the known GW Talk network. So we have multiple connections. How does it look on the client side? We see here on the left hand a very simple interface. We see all these little icons on top of the name of Brad Smith, who is the user of this one here. So we see all these connections. We see green lights. We have integration from GroupWise. The first S is Salesforce integration. That's also available in GW Talk. Then we have some instant messaging systems, Skype, Novell Messenger, Google Talk, Facebook, etc. All these integrations. And it also displays very nicely in what I see as the most important screen using GW Talk, the contacts window. Using this technology allows us to have an easy overview on our users, where we can actually reach them. So we don't have to worry where we have to log in all the channels. We log in automatically by firing up GroupWise. We see whom we can talk to on what channel. It doesn't become important to us to think, oh man, where do I talk with Homer Simpson? Where do I talk with John Black? I can see it on one screen. And what becomes important is the message, the content of the conversation. Because we think it shouldn't matter where people communicate these days, where they talk. It's important is that they talk and what they talk, and also that the content of the conversation stays compliant. So we see another screenshot here showing how GW Talk displays instant messaging. We have multiple conversations. On top, we always see what's the platform we're talking on, who am I talking with, and their conversation. All these things that we do, all the conversations we have, the phone calls, the text messages we send, everything will be saved back into GroupWise. So we can see here a GroupWise mailbox, and we can see it's the history, the daily history transcript of the instant messaging, for example. We see that Brad Smith and Marlon Monroe, they had a conversation, and we see it started in the local IM system. They continued in Facebook chat, went over in Google Talk, Novell Messenger, and ended up in Skype. And we see the whole conversation as one piece. So it's very clearly, it doesn't matter where we talk. It matters that we talk. And also it's important to keep it compliant to the enterprise world. Because everything we do that's business related, that should be compliant somewhere. We should have a record of that conversation. So like this, we have the whole conversation saved. We can also see other symbols. We see some phones with an S for Skype calls, regular phones for just regular telephone calls. The little mobile phones, they symbolize text messages that have been sent, and so on. And this is all together with our emails. So we have it all in one place. We're used to keep track of our email traffic. So now we can keep track of our instant messaging history, of our text messages that we sent and received, and of the phone calls we do, both on Skype and the regular phone system. Again, everything that we do, as we can see here, is being saved. We have the histories of the text messages, including the statuses, if the messages have been delivered in terms of text messages. We see Skype calls. If we take notes during a Skype call, which we can do with GW Talk, the calls will be saved in here. The recordings will be saved together with that entry into GroupWise. And should I want to change the notes after the call has happened, I can do that, and it will be saved back to GroupWise and will be changed within GroupWise. So everything stays the way it is. And you can see it's all very clear. And it also the important thing is it's searchable. When GW Talk creates these events, these items into GroupWise, they are being catalogized just like an email. So you can search it. You can either search it on the GW Talk client. You can search for a specific word, a specific thing that you entered in the conversation within GW Talk, or you can also search for it in GroupWise. And GroupWise does have a very nice search feature, so you can search for a part of the conversation, and it will go through it just like it will search through emails. it will show you all in the results. You'll see the emails, the instant messaging histories, the Skype entries, the text messages, everything that has to do with that entry that you're looking for. You will find it. This point, just I know screenshots are nice to take a look at, but we also do have some. Let's see if I can share another screen. So are you now seeing Windows?
I am not seeing it right now.
What can you see? Trying to share my screen.
Yeah, I'm just seeing a blank screen.
Okay. Well, then, why don't I try it the other way around? So if I pull this window in here, you should then see now Windows or GroupLink, so to speak.
Yes, I can see your group-wise.
Right. Perfect. That's what I want to show now. So we see my mail in this mailbox here, in this group mailbox, we can see that here are the transcripts. GW Talk, which we can see here being added into GroupWise, shows the integration type. We can see it creates new folders for the instant messaging history, for example. So I can just open up here any entry that I had, and I will see that was a Skype conversation that I had with the symbol. I see all that conversation that happened on Skype, and it's being saved here with the date and the times, and so on. I see text messaging history, the text message that I've sent where they went to. This is already archived. So I do see the delivery, the text message, and I see that the text messages has been delivered to the mobile phone, yes or no. So I have all these. I have all these reports on it. I also have folders for my telephony, for my dialed phone, for my received phone calls, and as well for my dialed phone calls. So I can see all these entries here, and if I open up, I see I spoke with Anton here for 8 minutes and 33 seconds. That's the phone call I had. I didn't take any notes to this call. What I can do is if I go here to my GW Talk client, which looks just similar like the one you have seen before. Sorry, let me get that back. So this message here was from today, earlier on, and what I can try to do is I can try to add a note to that call. If I open up my call history in here, I see my today's call history, and I can add a phone note after the call. If I save this, I close it. What I then have to do is I'll probably have to give it some time to sync because I'm in caching mode. I'll try to send and receive. What it will show you very nicely, it will change this in here. Maybe while this is updating, also another thing that is very nice that GW Talk does, if I go to my contacts and I'm looking for someone here in my contacts here, let's say I'm looking at Horst, usually in GroupWise, the history feed that shows us the emails and the appointments that we've had with this contact. What's being added now are instant messaging histories, are phone calls or Skype calls that are being added here into the history. So actually all my functionalities of GroupWise are being improved. I'm seeing a lot more stuff happening here. To first screen I had. We were here, I think, yes, with Anton. Let's see if it already updated it. Not yet. I'll have to do that again. I think I had a question. I see there's a question in the chat. The question is from Daniel Wells. How does impact email backup and archiving products? Well, this is rather easy. What happens with the archiving product, if you archive things, if you archive your mailbox, the additional items will be archived as well. These are basically the things you can decide where you want to save these things in just different separate folders or in your mailbox. It will just be added in here. These additional items will just be saved within GroupWise as well. Oh, and what we see here, we see Dietmar, who is actually part of the presentation. So he also has a group GW Talk user. So we can see him chatting with me on GW Talk as well. Afterwards, I will probably be able to go to the IM history, and depending on how often I want to synchronize it, I will have this conversation here as well. Let's see if this has already synchronized here. And not yet. Well, coming back to what I was saying before, where were we? We were here, right. So as you can see, these integrations, we see them as a very important add-on to GroupWise. We see in today's world where communication isn't email only anymore, especially in the enterprise world. We see the need to integrate these other communications that happen in our daily work. We need to have these things compliant. We want to have it integrated. We want to use it all out of one platform, and this one platform to us is GroupWise. It's clearly that GroupWise is the tool that is being updated, it's being archived, it's being saved, it's updated all the time. So we're using this as our main work tool. So we want to integrate all these other new working tools into the existing one that just keeps it as convenient as possible. I know we have this wrong here. That would be the one I wanted to show you now. So as I said, these new ways of communication, as they come, and as we have to, as organizations have to figure out a way how to use those tools in the most efficient way, the most compliant way, and also preferably in an integrated way. That's where SkyPro comes into play. That's where our solutions, where we have our tools. The main tool obviously would be GW Talk, where we can integrate all these new fancy things. In addition to GW Talk, we also have two other tools. One that integrates faxing, integrates enterprise faxing into GroupWise, and another tool that is basically for the text messaging service within GW Talk. We also have a server, so that you're actually in charge of the whole server piece of it as well. Where with the server, you also have the option to use your own SIM card with the modem to send and receive text messages. We have evaluations for all products, especially for GW Talk now. So if you are interested in test driving it, interested in seeing how it works, how it integrates with your phone system, with your accounts, with your GroupWise, please contact me anytime. I'll be happy to reach out to you, to get back to you, make sure we give you a complimentary version of it so that you can evaluate it. We also provide remote support and training during setup and installation for everyone that wants to take a look at our products. Be our pleasure to help you out with that. And yeah, are there any other questions at this point? Anyone that wants to know something else? I'm just going to go back to that screen that I have here and see if we could find.
Christian, I have not seen any other questions at this time. But
Okay.
just a reminder, if anybody does have questions, feel free to put those through on the chat or Q&A.
Let's take a look at Q&A piece. Where is that? Oh. So I see the chat here. Yes. Yeah. If there's nothing else, no one else has any questions. I thank you for your time. I know I know it's later in the day, and yeah. On my side, that's it. Thank you very much for paying attention, for checking out this webinar. Again, if you want to learn more about it, if you want to test drive it yourself, please feel free. Give me a. Do we have my? Where do I put my contact information, Amy? In the chat?
Yeah, we can put it through in the chat and just send it to all panelists.
Right. So we have my email address. If you have any, if you want to go ahead and take a look at it, let me know. I'll guide you through. Also, you can just go to our website, skypro.us.com. We have our product there. We have a link to GW Talk. You can download an evaluation of it as well. Also, like us on Facebook as well. Skypro also is on Facebook. And yeah,